Okay, first ride on the spicy meatball. This is meatball take one. So just me and John today. So, John got his studs on. I do not. As you can see. So I gotta calm myself down here a little bit. So last weekend, Saturday, I didn't bring this bike because it was really wet. It rained again, pretty good this week. And figured it's time to break it in. Regardless. So it's pretty slick. And I just am kind of getting acquainted with the bike because that first section, you can tell I'm out of breath. Just trying to stay up. So I was trying to follow at John's pace and I was not going to keep up with him back there. So as we get through the trails, we'll see how it goes. Breaking in a new bike with scratches and damage is just part of the it's just part of the fun, right? I hate looking at it that way, but its character. So in a few minutes I'll start doing some first impressions. I want to kind of get my thoughts here together first. So I wasn't on single track for my first ride on this bike. It's just local around my house. So this is the first time it's in the trails that we normally ride. So I kind of expected a little break-in here, break-in period. Like everything, getting used to the suspension.
I can hear you talking.
So that first hill was greasy as snot, and I was moving around a lot. Wasn't getting good traction on the back, but I slowed it up a little bit.
Good.
And that second part felt really good.
Some of those root coming up that hill.
Yeah, I was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah. Holy God. What are you running it on? What switch? Slippy?
Sunny.
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 Look at you.
Okay. So, continuing where I left off. So, I'm going to try to give some first impressions now. So, like I said last week, bike feels good. Stable. The shocks I haven't messed with yet. So, it feels good, but I haven't dialed anything in yet, right? So I got some room to work with compression and rebound. The first hill that I took when we started into these trails, I was all over the place. Just a different bike, different power delivery, and also it's slippery. So I'm going to try to watch the slicker spots. Like John is probably having a pretty easy time with this. With studs on. Okay. So that's a good opportunity right there to point out that the suspension feels good. So suspension feels good. Feels like I know what's going to happen with it. XC-W, not so much on the higher speed stuff, like I mentioned last week. The power delivery and pickup feels super. Feels like it's right in its wheelhouse for this, right? So what I mean by that is strong and crisp off the bottom. I can turn the throttle, lift up the front wheel. My rear wheel was stuck there, so that wasn't a good example. So it feels very good. Front brake right now, new of course, but it's grabby. Feels very grabby. Feels like I have to be careful, so you know, with modulating. So I feel like I'm riding at an okay speed, but I'm not going to do anything crazy right now until I get a little warmed up. Impressions on single track throttle response right here. Crisp. No hesitation, no clearing out feeling. Actually, feels like it should. If I like these foot pegs or not. They feel chunky, and I'm not sure yet if I like or dislike that. They just feel different. I do like the location. The placement is good. I said last week it feels a little down and back from the KTM. And I kind of like that. But they do feel different in terms of size and width. Okay. suspension felt good over that. That was a pretty nice sized rut. Oh, I took the wrong path. I have to be careful in general on the front brake because, like I said, last week I rode studs and really didn't pay anything. Didn't take a close attention to what the brake felt like or modulating it. Bike on single track today feels nimble, but something I noticed last week holding true today. Turning radius is very good. This bike is not lighter than my KTM necessarily, but it does feel that way. It feels lighter right now. It's just, I'm struggling a little bit with traction, but I think if I was 1-for-1 with same tire and loose setup on the KTM, I feel like I'd be doing a little better on this bike right now. Maybe that's real, and maybe it's perceived. Back brake feels good. Little engine braking right there. Tight trees here. Trying not to do a whole lot of damage to myself. Much better front fork hold up on that downhill. Bad gear choice there. So I'm riding over these ruts pretty good. Forks are feeling good. Interestingly, still the fork springs that are stock. And I have some heavier springs, and I'm curious what they're going to feel like, if it's going to be too heavy, but suspension's not really broken yet too. I was thinking I could probably do a side-by-side video on some of these trails that I'm riding that are similar to what I'm riding on the other bike, just to see if it is faster or not. I don't feel caught between the second and third gear on this bike. here, I'm gonna let Sean go ahead of me. You're good.
Like
and subscribe. It's amazing how people love to see you destroy perfectly good shit.
Beautiful, brand new.
Yep. All right, Sean's gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can keep with him a little bit. So far the two things that I was interested in this bike for, at least on this first ride and the short one that I did, they're holding true, and that is power and power delivery and front forks in particular. I feel like I'm not giving up much on the trail feeling right now. The lightness, the nimbleness. But again, we're not doing anything too difficult right now. No boulders and that kind of thing. This is just slippery. I feel more comfortable on it. I feel like the bike is doing what I think it's going to do, but that section back there was pretty slick. Okay, John. So this is first real hill climb. He's rocking the studs. So let's see how it goes. I'm not going through those big ruts, John. Okay, another observation. If I apply steady, slow speed, this bike tractors. And it doesn't need to necessarily be in the lower rev rate or the higher rev range to do that. So I feel like as I ride it, that could be confidence inspiring for me. Might need to take a little off the bars there. That tractored right through. No tire spin. Yeah, it was good. John typically rides these trails for the most part in third gear on my 2022 XC-W. Riding in second gear can be a challenge keeping up with him at times. I feel like this gearing is a little taller. Overcooked it a little bit. Sorry to say, I haven't even set the sag because I'm putting new springs in this, and didn't want to do it and have to do it again. I feel like a little off the bar ends could be advantageous here. I haven't cut any of my bores, but I feel like it could help. I mentioned this is an M59 tire. Feels pretty good so far. This is slick. About a mile back, I felt like it wanted to wash one time, but I didn't wash out and I didn't lose control. came back in for me. And that's good. Almost. Seat height on this bike might be a little lower than the XC-W.
What?
Yep. Very tractable power. Rear fork is feeling a little stiff, but in fairness, I haven't touched it yet. That's a good traction test, especially without studs. Great traction. Great traction. Second gear through it. Biggest observation again, power delivery and low end capabilities. Right along with that, front forks. On my 350 XCF, John would be beating my ass right now. I mean, by greater margin. Wow, that section felt good.
Nice.
So,
What gear were you in?
you're riding third.
So it was between the two. I was mostly third, especially at the top.
So,
You have to fix that.
for me, I can always tell when you're riding third on my other bike.
Yeah.
But this bike, I can't really tell as much.
Thanks to our sponsors.
Big guy zip ties.
Zip tie.
Big guy zip ties. So, John's gonna take this bike in the next section and he's gonna give an honest review based on what he feels. This is where you wanna have studs. But it's one section. It's more fun just to learn how to do it the way that you should. Okay. Score 1 for XC-W on the skid plate knock. Score 1 for the beta on not falling on my ass, because that little bit of height made a difference. And that's just getting used to the speed that you hit stuff. Get a little lazy on the XC-W because of the ground clearance with the PDS. I don't have to fan the clutch as much. First impression. I still am, but not nearly as much. And that's a second gear to second gear comparison. Great tractability. So again, GoPro effect, but steep hill, and I did not fan the clutch in second gear on that hill. Interesting. Not at the point where I'm lofting the front end yet because it's slick and I think I know where the bike's going to go, but not really sure yet on the suspension. That's my limitation, not the bike. Got a little less grip on this firm moose. I feel like the balance back there was good. I probably would have tipped over on the other bike. all the things I've said about this bike, positives, it's still my first real ride, and I'm still more comfortable on the XC-W today. That'll change. I can tell why Rich Larson liked this bike so much when he had one. On the next round, I'm gonna ride more loose on the upper body. Okay, so me and John switched bikes. He's riding a Beta. He's gonna give me his honest review. And I'm riding his bike, which is a 2019 XC-W with a very high shifter lever. Don't know how you reach it, John. He's riding my bike, I'll compare it to his, and I'm anxious to see what he says. I do feel, like I said already, the Beta is crisper off the crack of the throttle, so 0 to a quarter. CPIs feel like they need cleaned out a little bit. Not sure what was going on there, John.
The clutch is far up compared to like the release. So I was like, oh shit, I'm in neutral, and I wasn't. Right.
Excuses, John. Why won't this start? John, your bike won't start. Okay. I just had a malfunction with John's bike. It did not start. Took everything apart from his headlight malfunction last weekend. One of the wires must have been loose. So we're back at it. So,
I need to know
when you took off,
what happened to you.
When you took off, it didn't start.
What?
And it stayed not started. And I took the mask apart and jiggled all the wires, and just when you yelled, it started. These shitty Austrian bikes, man.
Hey,
The spicy meatball.
it's good.
Katso.
Doing like 8th gear.
Your shifter lever is so high.
What do you mean? Yours is so low.
No,
I can't get my
yours
foot
is
on
high. John, I agree with you that your front end doesn't feel as precise with these wider tires. He has a 90 front on. Don't think I ever noticed that much on mine, but his actually feels wide. Take that, clutch. Low end goes to the Beta, mid-range goes to KTM. In these kind of trails, we're not getting into the mid-range a whole bunch. So mid-range snaps a little more on this bike and is delivered in a linear fashion on the Beta, I think. Mid-range. Just what you like. Lugging in second gear on the Beta right there feels a little better than on the KTM. Now just lugging, so being in the clutch a little more on the KTM. This is just nitpicky, right? Because both these bikes feel awesome. little better on the beta. A little crisper again. Same stuff over and over. That crispness is nice in the woods though, for sure. John, you're riding good, man. For being on a completely new bike. Watching Highland Cycles videos, and he rides one, but he's out west, and those trails are different, and I know he likes it, and I know he has it set up for the way he likes it, but it's hard to gauge what it would feel like on these kind of trails, right? Just from riding today, feel like I'm on the clutch a little more. I'm in second gear on John's bike. I'm on the clutch a little more than on the beta. Be interested to see what his impression is, if it's the same. Curious if he's going to say that the suspension is pretty firm, because it is. He's definitely going to say the seat is. There's the site of the carnage. Thoughts?
I've been talking a lot. Suspension feels fucking great.
Does it? I was just saying you're going to say it's stiff.
The front suspension feels like it just absorbs shit.
Hold on.
I've been riding it in rain mode. I'll call it rain or pansy ass mode.
Okay.
I adjusted this big time in. Now, I know how many clicks it was, so I'll put it back for you.
No, it probably needed to come in. That's
But
good.
I adjusted it big time in, and so it's a lot more manageable. Before, I thought I was in neutral.
Okay.
So, adjusted that. The bike tracks. It just goes, you point it, and it goes where you want it to go.
How much do you think that's tire, and how much do you think that's bike?
I definitely think it's some tire. But the bike just seems a little more compact. It seems smaller when I'm riding it. Now I have the what are they called, fastway pegs. They're down and back a bit.
Yep.
I think I might have been riding with the turn signal on the whole time. Was I?
There are none.
I'm kidding.
You beat the horn.
But it feels really good. The engine is just smooth, and it's weird. It's so quiet. You can the power band just seems smooth. Now I'm running it in pansy mode, so I'm going to click that next time.
Okay.
And give it a little love that way. I've complained about this a million times. First and second gear and the gap to third, not my favorite. I'm still in this third 90% of the time. Second is very easy to ride.
Yeah.
Second gear
So
is
not as wide of a range between gears.
that you can sell the front tire when you're in second gear. This is a lot more manageable in that. It feels a little bigger right here. I don't know if that's because the tank, like KTM's just kind of goes and Felicity flips down. But, overall, nice bike. Like great, like just fun to ride. The power is it's a smooth motor. There's a 5-year gap between these, so I would love to to ride the 24 XC-W just to kind of see what they did, because it's supposed to be completely different. But I'm a fan. It's a really, really good buy.
Interesting.
It's a great purchase.
Interesting what you said about the power delivery, because on this, I felt the power band more, and I don't really, I'm so used to my XC-W that really doesn't bother me. But when you tweak the throttle into mid-range on this, you don't have to worry about the snap, like if you're on something. You know what I mean? It's just a straight line kind of power rather than a ramp up.
No, you're right.
And
that probably needs adjusted, because it's the whole way.
The power
when
valve?
you do the top end, it's the whole way. That spring is. But yeah, that definitely needs adjusted. But it's smooth. Like I said, I'm in pansy gear, but I think a lot of that crisp that you were feeling is there's not, there wasn't a lot of, it was out. Out. So, I moved it in for myself.
I'm gonna try it there.
And it's like I can fan it and play with it a little bit more. Like I was in first gear. I don't know if you saw, I had one hand up in the air when we were going up that hill. In
so
first
you weren't fanning.
Just putzing, just going
I feel like I'm fanning the clutch more than riding that earlier today.
Probably. What gear are you in?
I'm riding second.
Second? Really?
A little bit of third, but mostly second.
Huh. I am not a fan of second. Even
I
on
like
this
the engine to sing.
Even on this, I don't feel as steady. I think it's my philosophy: as slow as fast.
How about brakes? What'd you think?
Oh, brakes are touchy.
Yeah, they're strong.
Brakes work.
Yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, brakes work.
I adjusted the rebound. What did that feel like?
You did?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't notice it.
Did
before.
it bounce up and hit you in the ass?
No, I mean, but I was watching you earlier, and when you have those on, you're just like, it's godlike, because there's nothing to even worry about. So I'm watching you earlier on this. I'm like, damn, he's like doing good. And then once I got comfortable on it, I'm like, it's just going. Like I was nervous about going over those logs and Dawn's log, the one that you were trapped under.
It seems to track really well. Like I feel like high speed confidence is good with the forks in particular.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that hill talking to you?
I don't know. No, not today. Not today.
Well, glad you like it.
Maybe I'll do that one. I'm gonna ride this a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You haven't seen durability, you know.
Ah.
But your bike just didn't start a minute ago.
Wonder what the fuck that was.
I think you had something loose in here.
Okay. All right.
Because I just traced the starter wire down and just messed around with it and it came back on.
Okay.
I'm encouraged on. Some of the tighter stuff I ride between second and third. What a great ride today. It's a lot of mud, but it's manageable. All right?
That'll break it in.
You okay?
How in the hell did that happen?
I think you got caught on the tree and whiskey throttled. That's good views, John.
How the hell did that happen? All right, well, I got that out of the way.
That's a risk we take.
Let me see. Oh my God! Well, that was a good break-in. And the bars are a little wide.
You know what? I got caught.
Let me add that to the list.
I got caught. The bars were a little wide.
Nail that.
Yeah. That was epic, John.
Durability's good too.
So I didn't have radiator guards on you.
Plastic seems strong. That was an old school fucking wreck.
I've done that.
That was an old school wreck.
I've done that. And then when you hit the tree,
That was surprising.
when you hit the tree, you start looking at the trees and then you hit them more because you're not looking ahead, you know?
I didn't hit the tree.
You did.
The bike hit the tree. I'm still laying here.
Remember we took my buddy Neo for a ride and he hit that tree, did the similar thing. And when he hit the tree, all the leaves came down. Is the ground as soft over here as it is on that other section?
No, right there is hard.
I mean, when you land on it.
No, right there is hard. Hold on, let me grab my purse and let me get my chicken wing.
Don't take Lisa's picture.
It felt good.
Oh, you like the bike, you mean?
I like the bike a lot.
Did you think the foot pegs felt chunky?
I did make a comment about that.
I don't know if I like them or don't like them. You do gotta watch the trees with these bikes. I'm used to wider bars. Happy with the traction on this tire. Those roots are wet and muddy. This section's noticeably more slick. These tires feel good. Love them. Even after coming off of the studs on John's bike, they feel great. I think I tamed down the rear shock kick too in that adjustment that I made. Feels good. I wanted to see back there if the M59 could climb out of the rut okay, and it did. Same there. This bike's a keeper. I don't feel like I'm giving up anything on the XC-W. Anything significant. As long as durability is the same. I'd say that's probably true for all these 300s that are out there. They're all pretty close. You get good brakes, good engine, decent suspension, you're good. When I change grips, I'll probably narrow these bars down a little bit. It turns well, I don't need the leverage. Getting through here pretty good. clutch on this hill. I hit that a little tentatively. I was just being tired. My legs are a little spent. This is the first section that we started out on today. It's a lot slipperier than the other one.